It's completely ridiculous. Obviously, the concept was never going to work.
It's working.
Well, it's a miracle they beat 4 gyms. They haven't beat any more gyms since then, have they?
How many? I think they're past 4 gyms.
Whatever.
Last time I checked, they were out of the Safari Zone.
It's ridiculous. I mean...
They're moving on to Blaine, so I can't remember the exact count.
The fad will end, and then that will be that.
Yeah, probably, but I fully expect them to do at least one more game. Like, I expect them to try, like, Final Fantasy or something.
Oh, good luck.
They're gonna fail.
I mean...
But I could see them trying it.
I'd be surprised if 1,000 people on Twitch could beat, like... Could finish, like, the Leo Kefka, like, basically cutscene fight. Never mind beating any of the actual bosses. I mean, there's only one correct... This is the 1,000 monkeys with typewriters thing all over again.
Right. Have you seen the democracy mode, though?
I have not seen democracy mode.
The guy has anarchy and democracy modes. So to get into democracy mode, there has to be more than 80% of people, I think it is, voting for democracy, and then it'll switch into democracy mode. And then when you're in democracy mode, I think you need 50% of the votes or more to go into anarchy mode. When you're in democracy mode, you have 20 seconds to propose your next set of steps. So if you were like up 4, left 3, that would mean he would go up 4 squares, then left 3. And you have 20 seconds to vote, and then he does whatever the votes are.
Okay, but with an actual... Okay, especially with the 1-minute delay that Twitch has now.
Yeah.
Boss fights in Final Fantasy? Good luck.
That's actually the most hilarious thing about it right now, is that there's a huge delay. No, I know.
Yeah, okay.
So that after they fight someone, they just kind of sit there and go like, because they're hitting like all the inputs from a minute ago. So every time after they do something major, they just kind of like run around and open the start menu for a while. And then after like a minute, they actually start going somewhere. Like, okay, good try.
Alright, well, welcome to the show on Twitch that does not involve playing Pokemon, although at some point we should probably just do like a Pokemon after party, because I love Pokemon.
I have a Pokemon Stadium for N64.
That would
so
that
we
would
could
definitely
actually
work.
do it. Yeah.
That would definitely work.
Yeah. I also have the adapter for N64 controllers, so you can plug Pokemon, like old school Pokemon games into N64.
Yeah,
so if we wanted to do that style, we could do that as well.
Why does this not surprise me at all? Like, if someone had asked me, if someone walked up onto me on the street and said, do you think Luke has, like, you know, some random friggin' adapter that allows you to plug some random friggin' cartridge into some other random friggin' thing? I'd be like, yeah, he might not know where it is, but he probably has one.
Got it somewhere. I also have one for SNES, just in case that... Just in case we want to switch consoles.
Yeah, just in case that's a thing. That's a problem. All right, guys, we've got a great show for you today. Is Valve watching you browse? That was the rumor going around on the internets, and CEO Gabe Newell has stepped down from on high to deliver his word unto the masses. We'll tell you more about that later. Facebook has acquired WhatsApp for $19 billion. That's with a B. Billions of dollars, which is equivalent to about, what was it, $43 per user? Something along those lines? $48 per user?
That's ridiculous.
About $43 per user, in spite of the fact that not a single one of those users has given WhatsApp probably more than about $2 ever. So, next up.
Oculus Rift, you might be able to watch movies on it now, which is kind of insane. There's one coming on the way, and Google Project Tango, which we'll get more into later.
All right. Our sponsor today is Hotspot Shield. Guys, we've actually got something really exciting to do with Hotspot Shield today, and that is give away 10 elite codes. So we're going to do that later on during our sponsor segment. For those of you who don't know about Hotspot Shield, it is the fast, easy way to set up a VPN, which will allow you to do all kinds of exciting things, like access newscasts or video services outside of the region for which they were intended to be broadcast. So a lot of Users outside of North America can use it to access US Netflix, and a lot of folks wanting to enjoy content from the Sochi Olympic Games have been changing their location to the UK or the US in order to get better coverage of the events that they want to see. So Hotspot Shield is an easy way to do that, and you can save 20% off an Elite membership by using offer code. Oh, bollocks, I believe I seem to have forgotten my offer code. Using offer code Linus, very difficult offer code to remember.
I've forgotten my name.
Not everyone can be perfect like you. All right, so we had a couple people. Yeah, let's just pull on the mic there. We had a couple people complaining that the audio levels are too low, so we're going to move the microphone just right into the shot to the point where hopefully you guys can hear it okay. All right, first topic for today. Here we go.
I'm going to monitor to make sure that people like the volume, so just keep going forward.
All right.
Are we starting with that segment?
We are just going to start. This is an... Oh, wait. Oh, I got the... No, okay, we're going to have to do it. We're going to have to do it in a couple minutes.
Do it later? Okay.
Yep. All right, so let's kick off with OMG, is Valve spying on us all? And we would know that for sure if I had remembered to grab my DisplayPort to HDMI adapter. I'll be back in a moment. In the meantime, do you want to get started on that?
Sure. So essentially, no. Yeah, I don't. A lot of people freaked out because they're like, "Oh my God, Valve's reading my stuff," but not as many people freaked out as you might expect because it was Valve. I guarantee you, if this was EA, there would have been a nuclear explosion of gamers. But it wasn't quite as bad as I think it could have been. But the man himself levitated from the heavens, came down, and gave us the answer that we were looking for, which was that it was not actually malicious, did look for things locally, but then grabbed only those things, hashed them, sent them back to Valve servers, verified that you were being a cheater, and then banned you. Because apparently... the guys creating the hacks are getting frustrated that people are using their hacks without purchasing them.
Imagine that. Imagine there being some overlap between cheaters and hackers.
So cheaters have literally created their own form of DRM that has server callbacks so that they can make sure that you bought it, which is insane. So Valve kind of piggybacked on top of that, tried to detect that, and then ban users based on that. They weren't banning you based on if you went to the website. They were not banning you based on that. They were banning you based on if there was callbacks because the hack was currently running and they were trying to check for DRM.
So basically, that usual DRM nonsense that makes people upset, that is to say, constant phoning home from your software, is what ultimately led to Valve not doing that, but just exploiting that someone else was taking advantage of your computer to send callbacks to take advantage of the fact that some people weren't paying for their software. So basically, no honor among thieves. Companies that design cheats, and then the people who use them, yeah, both.
They're screwing each other over. So it was only active for about 13 days, at which point it was able to be circumvented because this happens all the time, and they fully expected that, so it was pulled. Gabe is even claiming that it's possible that the original thread created throwing them under the bus was even just a social engineering attack from the people that made the hack, or at least inspired by those people in some sort of way, which does make a ton of sense. He's quoted saying, "Do we send your browser history to Valve? No. Do we care what porn sites you visit? Oh dear God, no. My brain just melted." Those were his exact terms. That's pretty good. Is Valve using its market success to go evil? And then he says, "I don't think so. But you have to make the call if we are trustworthy. We try really hard to earn and keep your trust," which I guess that's the only way you can really say it. It kind of makes sense.
It does make sense. I mean, if it was anyone but Valve, yeah, everyone would have freaked out. Do I particularly... I mean, do I like them doing stuff that I don't know about? I mean, it's one of those things where, and he even addressed this in his statement, which is about this long, it's on Reddit, and he's kind of going, look, we don't talk about what we do with Valve Anti-Cheat.
No one does.
Because we can't. Because if we do, then it'll take them less than 13 days to figure out what we're doing and work around it again. And that's a big problem to me, because what about when they decide to be less Valve at some point?
Yeah.
What about when
But everyone does this. Literally
Yeah.
everyone that has a security implementation has to. They'll probably contribute to some open encryption form or whatever, but what they're using and how they're using it is not going to be on the table at all points.
Well, remember back in the early days of the Linus Tech Tips forum, when I always used to talk about the new security measures that we had implemented,
Super frustrating.
and then the site would go down like that.
It was like, come on, man.
So I understand why they're not doing this. It does make me a little bit uncomfortable because is it anywhere in the Steam EULA that they can or can't do whatever it is they're doing with Valve Anti-Cheat?
Doubt it.
Or if it is in there, is it in such terms that we would never have understood it anyway?
Yeah.
Probably.
Or sorry, I meant doubt it as in there's probably nothing protecting us against that in there. And there's probably nothing saying that they won't ever do it in there. Like, it's probably just not in there at all. That being said, yeah, I don't know. Again, I think a lot of people would be a lot more harsh on it if it was EA. But then again, if it was EA, it probably would be harsh. So, I don't know. Considering the, system information callbacks that Origin already does and they're completely open about.
Right.
I don't know. So, yeah, there's that. I think we covered everything with that. No, okay, so less than 0.1% of the clients triggered by the second check were actually banned, and that was 570 people. No, sorry, less than 0.1% of clients triggered the second check.
Yeah.
So a lot of them got triggered by the first one, but way less got triggered by the second one. And of those, that's 570 people. That's a crazy amount of people.
And I mean, it's one of those things where, are we happy that Valve is keeping our streets safe, so to speak? But then, is it really going to do anything? I mean, you know what? Let's do a little poll here. Hold on, I've never actually used Strawpoll before, but
It's really not that bad.
I'm gonna hope that
.me.
it's...
.me.
Sorry. Strawpoll.me.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you guys. Do you cheat in multiplayer
Ugh. It's anonymous, I guess.
games? Yeah, it's completely anonymous. Yes. Sort of all the time. And I'd love for you guys to weigh in on this with more than just the poll answer. If you want to hit us on Twitter, that's at Linus Tech. So yes, sometimes, yes, rarely, and no. All right, permissive, that thing, right? Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and create that poll.
Just click on it.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're going to post that in the Twitch chat here for you guys.
I'll try to grab it and repost.
Boom. All right, so in the meantime, let's move on to our next topic, which is Bitcoin ATMs potentially coming to the States, maybe, perhaps. Not 100% sure. There is a Bitcoin ATM actually in our hometown here in Vancouver. And that same company is looking to expand to different locations. However, one of the big things that just has to go away with respect to how Bitcoin works is the anonymity in order for anywhere to allow you to put a Bitcoin ATM. So the one in Vancouver has a biometric scanner. And I mean, we can talk all day about how effective
easy that is to get around.
That's going to be.
And how bullcrap that actually is.
It's better than nothing.
That's true.
I mean, sometimes,
That's very true.
this is kind of a whole other discussion topic, but sometimes it's not about making a completely impervious security measure.
So just having something there.
Sometimes it's about the barrier to entry.
Yeah.
I mean, is a passport impossible to forge? No. But are you going to do it?
No.
Am I going to do it?
And that's actually a part of a big security discussion that I was in on not that long ago, which was the idea of, yes, okay, maybe the facial recognition stuff is pretty easy to break through, and maybe fingerprint biometrics are pretty easy to break through, and maybe voice scanning is pretty easy to break through. But if I set up a door and have every single one of those, good luck.
Yep.
It's going to be real difficult to get all of that before you actually try to get through the door.
And it's not the kind of thing where I think you'll ever be able to replace an armed guard.
Yep.
If something's actually that valuable. But if it is, then pay the guy $20 an hour and give him a gun. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, okay, I think there was kind of more to talk about there. Sorry, I got distracted.
So the guys putting the ATM in will probably be RoboCoin, which are the same guys that put the one in Vancouver, like he was just talking about. You would be able to withdraw money in USD, or you'd be able to deposit USD in order to contribute towards your Bitcoin account. They want to put machines in Seattle and Austin by the end of February, although they have previously said that they want to put machines in New York and Los Angeles, and that hasn't happened yet due to the problems that Linus was just talking about with the requirement of being able to identify the person at the machine. It's a sketchy thing for lawmakers, and everyone's kind of on the fence about allowing Bitcoin into their cities, essentially.
And I mean, it's one of those things where I think we've talked about this offline, and I think it's an interesting topic. To me, the biggest reason that I can come up with that I think Bitcoin will fail is the negative press. You can make the argument all day that no press is bad press, but bad press is bad press when your competitors are getting good press and get lots of good press. And as much as Dogecoin started as a total joke and it was ridiculous, just for a lark, they get so much good press and good vibe around them. Whereas with Bitcoin, every other day it feels like there's some kind of news story because they're so high profile. It's like being a star athlete in a city that follows you really closely. Your highs are the expectation and your lows get blown out of proportion because you're the big kid. So with Bitcoin, every time there's a wild fluctuation in value, it explodes. Every time Mt. Gox isn't paying people, it explodes. Every time, a drug ring, or every time there's a massive child pornography bust or something like that, and it turns out that Bitcoins were somehow involved in the transaction. In any way.
Even if it's super minor.
Because remember, it's a lot of the time, the folks writing a newscast, they're basically laymen, right? So even if it was Litecoins or Dogecoins or, Linus coins or whatever else, they're going to say
coin, so they're going to say Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, the same way they say Kleenex or Xerox. They'll say Bitcoin. So the name will be somewhere in that negativity. And for that reason, I think that Bitcoin's a pioneer. I think that it sets a new precedent. I think that cryptocurrency has a very bright and very long future. I just don't think Bitcoin's going to win in the longer term.
And that whole observation, what you feel about the different coins and the aura around them thing, Bitcoin has drugs, sex, and weaponry. Then Litecoin has a whole bunch of people on the internet using AMD graphics cards to generate what is essentially going to turn into Bitcoins. And then Dogecoin is like, LOL charity, because I don't know what else to do with this. So it's like, that's how a not small portion of the internet sees the whole situation. So then what do you expect to actually come out of it? It's interesting.
So, I mean, with that said, if Bitcoin is the one that ends up with an infrastructure like ATMs, then great. But if Bitcoin, again, paves the way by having like 4 ATMs, and then someone better organized comes along and goes, yep, we're going to take that concept and we're going to go massively all over the country with something that's not anonymous and doesn't have all these negative connotations around it, then that could be very successful.
And that makes sense because Bitcoin's going to go in and get lawmakers to approve these machines, and then when another person goes in and tries to put in a machine, it's probably going to be super easy because they will have done it already.
It's tough to be the first one.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, can you imagine if we'd tried to be the first tech YouTuber? Where would I have even gotten the idea? Like, no, honestly. I mean, it's really tough to be the first one.
Yeah.
I'm okay with sloppy seconds. All right. So our next story is Facebook acquired WhatsApp for $19 billion. 19 billion. So this pretty much precludes any further talks with Snapchat because WhatsApp has an enormous, 470 million users?
Something like that.
And then they're adding 1 million users per day right now. So, okay, there's a few different ways to look at this. Number one is from the purely dollars and cents perspective, where you kind of go, okay, so WhatsApp. This is a company that did, I think it was 30 some odd million revenue last year. Revenue. Not profit. This is a company with like 50 employees.
You know those shirt cannons that you see at like events?
Yeah.
It's like Silicon Valley, like Apple and Facebook and these Google just have shirt cannons of money. And there's like, boom, boom, just like, see what we can hit. Who cares? No research, just boom. Let's just shoot money at everything and see what happens.
So that is one way of looking at it, is they are spending many dollars on the penny for what the company is actually worth from a strictly revenue perspective. And there's some validity there. But then the other way of looking at it is this $19 billion acquisition is for a social network. And I have a hard time classifying WhatsApp as a social network. Yeah. But more on that in a moment. For $43 per user. And when you consider what other social networks there are with that many users and what it would cost to buy, I don't know, Facebook is a great example, or Microsoft, what that would actually cost, then it looks potentially like a value. And then some of the other justification is the growth of WhatsApp right now, where it's 1 million new users per day, and you kind of go, okay, well then in 2 years they could have 2 billion users and a third of the entire world. I mean, in India, 400 million users are on WhatsApp or something like that. Maybe I'm getting the overall numbers wrong right now. How many users do they have right now?
India boasts 400 million active members.
Yeah, 400 million active members. So, I mean, that's absolutely huge. It's an emerging market that you want to be able to reach, and you could kind of look at it and go, okay, well, monetizing such a large user base should be a no-brainer. So then that leads to two conversations before your whole thing about why you think they want it. So right. Conversation number one is, I don't really see WhatsApp as a social network. To me, WhatsApp is a messaging utility that can come and go as quickly as ICQ, MSN, or anything else.
Yeah.
I don't think that the experience of using WhatsApp is nearly as rich as something like even Twitter. Because Twitter is all about connecting with people that you don't already have a connection to. WhatsApp is about, yo dog, I just switched over to this thing because it's free. And like, I don't want to pay for text messages. A paradigm that's probably going to go away in the next few years as telcos have all moved away from. I mean, when WhatsApp gained popularity, we were still looking at cell phone plans that were like, here's your 250 text messages a month.
Yeah.
That's where WhatsApp came from. It was a free way to send text messages, not, some kind of amazing paradigm-shifting communication platform that connects you with people. I mean, Twitter's amazing. Through Twitter, I do most of my outreach to people that I don't know, whether it's Nixie Pixel, who we've invited to be a guest on the WAN show in a couple of weeks, so we've had a lot of requests for that. How would I reach these people if it wasn't for Twitter? Because Twitter is a way for people who normally wouldn't talk to you to ignore you if they want, or if they see something really interesting as they flip through their feed, be like, oh yeah, sure, and engage with you. WhatsApp isn't that. So, who cares?
I'm going to cut in one quick second.
Yep.
We've got two mixing articles. One says 16 billion, one says 19 billion. But it's a lot. Even at 16 billion, it's kind of ridiculous.
I thought it was 19.
I thought it was 19
I read
well.
another one after the ones that you have in the doc that said 19.
The Verge says 16.
The Verge says 16.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So there's a few, but we always run into that.
Yep.
So
the internet.
It's a large portion of money, no matter what it comes down to. So my thing, or do you have more to go over?
No. Wait, okay. There was, is it a social network? And then, I forget what the other thing was. That's the biggest question to me.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry. And can they monetize it?
Right. There's a article that came out not that long ago saying that they're not going to be monetizing WhatsApp. But then now that it's owned by Facebook,
Yeah, but no, even Facebook, I think, has said that there's like, they're not changing the structure. In fact, the $1 subscription fee may go away.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that's all fine and good, because remember, guys, it is a strategy to build as many users as you can at any cost, and then exploit them as hardcore as you can until they all migrate to something else. So the real question here then is, can they get their 19 billion back before everyone migrates to something else? And maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe if I look at it and I go, you know, with my sustainable business model hat on, because everything I do here at Linus Media Group isn't on the scale of what someone like Mark Zuckerberg is doing, where he's working with billions of dollars the way that I would work with hundreds of dollars. You know, when I look at something and I go, okay, we're going to do like a new thing, we're going to do t-shirts, or we're going to start a new show, it's, where will that show be in 3 years when we're still developing it, and we want it to be sustainable to the point where we can attract sponsors, we can attract viewers, and we can make both of those groups happy for a very long period of time? That's what I'm trying to do. Whereas if Facebook is just kind of looking at this going, okay, well, we're not worried about turning WhatsApp into a sustainable business that can bring in $1 billion a year of revenue for 20 years, because 20 years in the internet game is
an incredibly long period of
I
time.
would make a bet WhatsApp won't exist in 20 years.
Yeah.
So if they're looking at it going, okay, let's make a quick buck, in 2 years, we could have 2 billion users, and then we could make each of them worth, you know, 30, 40 bucks easily, then we'll make double on our investment. Or if we could turn each of them into $100 by selling out so hardcore when the time comes, then we could make, you know, 5x back on our investment, or whatever that number ends up being. So if that's the way of looking at it, then hey, there you go. Maybe it's a great idea. So go on, your next thing.
One thing I've been worried about is, because something that we've started doing on the show now, because we have to, because it makes sense, is inspect how everything that happens on the internet could be terrible. So, not that long ago, Facebook released an update, and we actually missed this on the WAN show, but Facebook released an update making it so that Facebook could read your text messages. And like your call information, so they could know who you're calling. I think that part, but I know they can read your text messages. So now if they buy WhatsApp, they'll be able to read all of your text messages and all of your kind of text messages through WhatsApp. So they're just expanding the amount of text messages they can read, so you can have all of your Facebook interaction, which is a huge amount of interaction, all of your text message interaction, and all of your kind of text message interaction, which is WhatsApp, excluding BBM, which is, I'm sure, microscopic compared to WhatsApp.
And then, of course, there's the whole argument that they want to get into the underground of messaging.
Yeah.
But then figure out how to monetize it later or something. I mean, all the people that are interested in things like Snapchat, or even, I guess, WhatsApp to a much lesser extent, those underground folks are going to have no interest in continuing to use that platform once Facebook owns it, I would imagine. So We'll see how this shakes down. I mean, like I said, if the plan is just, here's a bunch of users, let's milk them for all they're worth for a short period of time after we build it up into the big thing, then there you go. Maybe it works.
Then there you go. Yeah.
All right, let's go to our straw poll. So let's go ahead. So 80% of you do not cheat, and 20% of you cheat rarely, sometimes, or all the time. 2% of you say you cheat all the time. So if Valve only even got to stage 2 with, what was it, 0.1%? 0.1%, I think it was.
Yeah,
Pretty sure.
Keep going.
With 0.1%, then that means that whatever they're doing probably didn't dig that deep, because they didn't catch 19.9% of the people that right on our stream are saying that, yes, they cheat.
Yeah, I don't...
So A, wasn't that effective, and B, so they probably weren't digging that deep.
And the thing is, and he even said it in the article, was it has to be multi-pronged all the time. Yeah. So this is one of their attacks. They don't have a single spear. They have many. So this is one of the things they can potentially do. They also have the thing where if someone gets reported, if you're playing the game and someone gets reported, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but my roommate used to do it all the time. It was actually really cool, is you would be able to go in and watch their game along with a whole bunch of other people, and it wouldn't show their username or anything like that, but you could watch their game and then determine, yes, they're using aim hack, yes, they're using wall hack, plausible deniability, like all these other different options.
Yeah.
And then if you voted along the same with basically everyone else that voted. If you agreed with the ending verdict,
Yeah.
then you got to keep going and keep reviewing footage. So it kept everyone honest, because if they wanted to keep doing this,
Right.
they had to be accurate all the time. So that's another way that they can ban people, and that apparently actually works really well and has been a huge front for them. I know League of Legends does a similar thing. So like they have many options. So just because this one didn't get a huge wide spectrum doesn't mean that VAC isn't trying. Yeah, because games like Counter-Strike are huge. So cheat creators for those type of games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and considering how long it's been around too, like, man, it's got to be crazy.
Oh, sorry for the off topic, but can you tell me why you didn't like The Hobbit 2? I didn't like it either. No, I'm not going to rant about Hobbit 2. I thought about doing a movie review of it, but it's one of those topics that seems very polarizing. There's a group of people that think it's the best movie ever, and then there's a group of people that don't think it's the best movie ever, and I don't really want to have that debate, because it's almost like a religious debate at that point. How do you argue objectively for the merits of a movie? You can't. So I like to use the term exploiting games, as long as it doesn't affect anyone else.
So single player. Because if you're exploiting or cheating, you're doing something that someone else can't, so it's affecting other people in multiplayer.
Buying WhatsApp, lets Facebook take out the competition, growing bigger, Google help focus on furthering their own. Yeah, probably. Okay, Ahmed says, I disagree. WhatsApp sends audio, video, group chats, etc. It's not going anywhere, just not as popular in North America. Oh, it's plenty popular here. Okay, not as popular as in other places, but it is popular. I just don't think that functionality qualifies it as a social network, because I don't think it's any more of a social network than a telephone. That's all. My telephone can send audio, video, group chats, etc. But that doesn't mean that the phone line is a social network. To me, that's what WhatsApp is. It's a phone line and a text line. I don't think it's exceptional. I think that if you, Ahmed, you decided that you were going to switch to something else, and a couple of your buddies got together and they were going to switch with you, and it was free, you could all switch like that. If the functionality was somehow, in some way, minutely better than WhatsApp, I think it could be displaced very easily.
I did use the group chat thing a lot when I used to go to school, because everyone in all of my classes were, because in the school I was in, you moved as one unit from class to class.
And I use it all the time for badminton as well.
Yeah,
It's
but there's
useful.
just 10 billion other things that can do that.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of them doing something stupid and upsetting people, and then that being that. There you go. 16 billion cash, 3 billion Facebook shares, according to, Irrational.
Probably equates to 19, I guess.
WhatsApp's main appeal is to keep in touch with overseas friends. Absolutely. But then again, 100 billion things that could... MSN had so much potential. I'm not going to go on this rant again, but MSN Messenger could have easily been...
I think it would be the coolest thing ever if they just released a news bulletin and they're like, yep, it's coming back.
Yep, I'd
be like, yes!
We're getting rid of Skype.
Yeah.
We're taking on WhatsApp. Because MSN had all this functionality ages ago. All they needed was a mobile version.
Yeah.
Anyway. Redirects to YouTube video, which redirects to Twitch stream. Well, yeah, but if we don't do that, then we can't reach everyone. Carl says, with the exception of known exploits from in-game glitches, I don't cheat. Why cheat? There's no pride in cheating. Absolutely. WhatsApp isn't anything like Twitter, so can't be compared. Yeah, I know. WhatsApp made me able to use smileys.
What?
That doesn't make it...
You can use smileys in...
I know it's different from Twitter. We never said it was the same as Twitter. What I said is Twitter's a social network. And I was saying WhatsApp is not. So actually, that's what I was saying, is that they're nothing alike.
I think it comes down to how you define social networks, too. Because technically it's a social network if you create a group chat. Because it is a network of people socially interacting.
Fine, then. Is three-way calling a social network?
See, then I don't know.
I don't know. All right, haven't tried enough of them to say for sure. Okay, lots of people not talking. Yep, don't get satisfaction from cheating. Okay, what is the point of cheating in games, even in single-player games? That would just kill the challenge.
I find certain cheats in single-player games to be okay.
Yeah, I've done it, just because I'm, bored. I'm like...
Yeah, it's usually when you're messing around, and I usually find those cheats to be, sandbox games. Cheats in games like Just Cause and GTA are hilarious.
Right.
But, yeah.
Peter figures karma takes a giant turd on you for cheating. I certainly hope so. I don't cheat, because getting a ban on Steam would be a disaster with all the games that I have. Yep. That's something, actually. As you build up your Steam library, larger and larger and larger, getting banned will have much more of an impact. But if you're someone who cheats all the time, like, I think that'll, again,
There's some
it's
ZAC
deterrence.
bans that aren't permanent now as well.
Deterrence for the casuals are really the big victory, because there's always going to be the hardcore guys that have 100 Steam accounts, each with one game.
Well, you can, if for the CSGO players out there, I'm sure you've experienced this as well. If you play CSGO a fair amount, I do. The second there's a Steam sale, and CSGO goes down to like $2.50 or like $3.75.
They're all back.
It's, oh my god, it's terrible for like a little while, but then you can tell they just all get crushed, and then it's usually somewhat okay again. But like the day or like 2 or 3 days after a sale starts, it's ugly. It's just terrible. And like you can, if you suspect someone, you go and like look at their Steam profile and it was like created 1 day ago, owns 1 game, and you're like, oh my god, hello. Like that happens so much. It's frustrating.
All right, so let's move on to our next topic. This is something that I actually disagree with the general consensus. This might turn into a rant. Amazon plans to increase membership fees. This is posted on the forum by... Yeah, sorry, man.
Lacrimal.
Sure. Amazon says it may increase its Prime membership fee by as much as $40. So it's $80 a year right now, which is about, what, I don't know, $6 a month or something like that if you extrapolate it out. Or break it down, or whatever it is you're going to do. A lot of people super upset about this. So for those of you who don't live in a country where Prime is an option, like the UK or the US, Amazon Prime entitles you to a few things. Number one, and this is the big one, is free shipping. So you get 2-day shipping on qualifying items, and then slower shipping on other items, and it is unlimited. You could ship a pen a day, every day for a year to your house, and they would have to do it, and that would be included with the fee. So of course, with a game, with something like this, it's a numbers game. For every person who ships something every day, you're gonna have, hopefully, someone who ships something once every 6 months and just bought the Prime membership on an impulse, and you're mostly just taking money from them to subsidize.
And because it's easy.
Yeah, because it's easy, because you don't have to think about it anymore, and then you subsidize with that. But, guys, shipping is expensive. Oh, okay, sorry, I hadn't finished going through the benefits. So benefit number 2 is you get access to the Kindle lending library, which allows you to borrow 1 qualifying book a month out of the sort of the pool of lending books, and basically amounts to a free book per month. There's no time limit on how long you can keep that one, but I guess you probably have to give it back before you can borrow the next one. I've never actually used it. I don't have a Prime membership. And then benefit number 3 is access to an unlimited amount of Amazon's on-demand video streaming service. So for $80 a year, if you consider, and okay, it's not up to the caliber of Netflix, but when you consider that you're paying $6 a month for Netflix, and that's just video streaming, or if you consider that a subscription to Audible.com, one of our sponsors actually, is going to cost... Actually, can't even remember. Oop, that's embarrassing. So what did I get my free audiobook? Yeah, whatever. I can't remember. Anyway, the point is...
Either way, if you sign up with our code, you get a free audiobook.
Yeah, so, yeah, exactly. Head over to audible.com/Linus. Anyway, so the point is, okay, so if you're getting a free book a month and you're getting free shipping on everything, even if you shipped yourself, so let's say they increase it $40 to $120, even if you shipped 1 thing a month, you're still paying about what us Canadians pay to ship anything for everything that it is. And if you can't find 1 thing a month that you could buy on Amazon, especially with 2-day delivery, instead of somewhere else, then yeah, it doesn't make sense for you. But I just find it hard to believe that this is such an enormous deal breaker for everyone. This is something people don't understand. Shipping is really expensive.
Someone in the chat says there's a UK fashion site that has free worldwide delivery with no minimum spend, and it only costs about $10 euros a year to get next day shipping, although it's clothing, so...
Good for you. Royal Post is cheap.
And it's clothing, so there's probably massive markup and margin anyways.
So shipping is expensive, and if you think that you're getting shipping for free, think again.
You're probably paying for it.
You are paying for it. You are always paying for shipping somewhere. So let's take Asian countries, for example, where worldwide shipping costs like $1. You know, you can buy stuff on Deal Extreme for like $1.50 with free shipping anywhere in the world. How does that work? Subsidies. They are getting subsidized. I mean, we often joke that it costs less to ship something from Britain to our house than to ship something down the street, in spite of the fact that if someone ships something from Great Britain to our house, it will still have to cross the entirety of Canada, never mind just down our own street, in order to get to us, which means Canada Post is actually carrying it across the country. But if I were to send something to Halifax, I would probably be spending $15-20 minimum. So how does it work? Subsidies. In countries where shipping is cheap, you are paying for that subsidy so that someone can pay some other country's shipping company in order to move it for them once it gets there. So you're paying for it somewhere. For companies like Amazon, where they're shipping within the US, where shipping is much cheaper than Canada, as low as about $2.50 to $3.50 per package. This is based on some numbers that I shouldn't have access to, but that's what a very large company like Amazon or Newegg is probably paying with someone like a courier that 3 letters in their name and sometimes they drop things. Okay, so it can cost as little as $2 to $3.50, maybe about $4. All right, maybe $4.50 for something. Let's say the size of like a mouse, like a basic rate. That means that you paid for it somewhere, whether it's a membership or whether it's in the margin of the product. And anyone who thinks that the margin in electronics is good enough to cover that, I don't know what to tell you. It's not. It's not at all. So that's pretty much all there is to it. I fully support Amazon increasing the rate in order to make the business make sense. They can't just bleed money on the Prime program. It has to make sense for them. And if shipping costs go up, because let's face it, gas isn't getting cheaper, then that's what's going to happen. Deal with it. It's still a fantastic deal. And all you people complaining about it can just, because up here in Canada...
Not get it. Like,
sorry? Yeah, or just don't buy it.
Yeah.
So don't buy it, or don't complain, because here in Canada, do you have any idea what we would give to pay $120 a month for free shipping from anywhere? It's $120 a year. Sorry.
I was like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no. For $120 a year, you could have free shipping from Amazon.com.
Boom.
Done.
Well, yeah, .com, definitely.
Yeah.
.ca, I don't know.
No,
there's not
.ca
much on
sucks.
it.
I don't buy anything.
It's terrible, yeah.
Yeah, the pricing sucks.
Yeah. But .com, yeah, I'd be completely down. Okay, from another perspective, I would be not stoked that my price was doubling.
It's not doubling.
$40 to
No, $79 up to $120, or up to $19.99. No. By up to $40 from $79.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Sorry, it's awkward wording in the document.
Okay, so not quite doubling, but
so
still...
So I'll buy 50%.
Yeah, like, I still wouldn't be stoked, but I'd probably still do it.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where there's a whole lot of complaining that goes on.
Yeah.
But then people
I don't think a lot of people
anyway.
are actually... Yeah, and like, they haven't changed their price for, what, 9 years?
Yeah.
Like, dude. Prices for them were not the same 9 years ago. I don't know what to say. That's what you get with physical stuff. Like, I don't know if Netflix is necessarily going to become more expensive in a short period of time.
As long as they're still growing, as long as their user base is still increasing dramatically, bandwidth costs are going down.
Unless they have to start paying ISPs.
Unless they have to start paying ISPs, but they're going to keep fighting that.
Yeah.
They're going to keep fighting that.
And they're changing laws already, or trying to.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. Not a huge deal. Are you going to do your thing?
I'm going to do that after the next topic. Let's do one more topic.
Do we want to do the thing?
Yeah, the problem is that I forgot to grab the graphic for it. So I'm just going to have to fire up the Gmail here.
All right.
And then go ahead and enter the password here. And then enter the verification code here. Oh, fortunately I have my Pebble back. 189582. You know, I saw so much potential in the Qualcom Talk.
Yeah.
Really saw a lot of potential. If you guys haven't seen my review of the Talk already, even if you're not that interested in smartwatches, well, one, deal with it, because they're going to be a huge, huge thing in the next 5 years. And number two, it's an interesting video to watch, because, like, not blowing my own horn here or anything, but I think it's one of the better reviews I ever did. I spent a lot of time with the product. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out everything that was good and everything that could be improved about it, to the point where I think it should give you a pretty good idea of where we're at with smartwatches right now. So at least it'll give you some context for what's coming in the future. All right, so let's go ahead.
Wow, that's brilliant.
Download. I know, isn't it fantastic?
Every once in a while, he just makes gold.
I know. All right. So this is a new segment on the show. If you like this segment, let us know. If you think this segment is stupid, then let us know that too. So we're going to try to find one thing per week. I know this is a tech show, and it's mostly focused on technology, but we're going to find something that is not technology, that is more important than whatever is going on in the life of Canadian pop sensation Justin Bieber. So this week is, and I have been corrected, it is not the Ukraine, it is Ukraine. This week there is a whole lot going down in Ukraine right now, and
Venezuela.
And in Venezuela. Ukraine is the one that's making a lot more headlines at the moment, just because there's reactions going on, like, for example, there are Ukrainian athletes that are just leaving the games just to go home and show their solidarity. So Skier and her coach, who is also her dad, if I recall correctly, are just kind of heading back to show their support.
Before their event was over.
Yeah, before the event was over. They're just like, you know what? Screw this. They need us back home. We're going to head back there. The death tolls being reported by the media, I think, are in the 35 range, but protesters are saying that they are higher than that.
Health Ministry has said 77 people were killed and 577 were injured, but activists are saying it's much higher.
You know what's really scary about that number is that when I looked at it yesterday morning, it was 35, if I recall correctly. That was what was being reported. So and then the day before that, I believe it was 13. Or 11 or something like that.
Yeah, it's not
so
good.
it's going up very quickly. The violence is escalating. It's one of those things where on this show, we don't typically take a stance one way or the other, but there are certain things I think we can all agree on. One of them is that the value of human life is something that we should all respect, and people shouldn't be dying over a conflict. The police shouldn't be dying. The protesters shouldn't be dying, and none of those things are right. And so it's just something that is more important than Justin Bieber in the world right now. We're not going to sort of cover this in too much depth.
Yeah, we're not like in the field reporters. We're
not there.
We do tech stuff. So we just want to bring it up so that you guys can go check it out probably in your own time and develop your own opinions about it.
Be aware of it is all we're really saying, and don't worry too much about the Bieb. Although I heard that the U.S. has to take him back now.
Yeah, because we won hockey.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't hear about this, there was a billboard that said "Loser keeps Bieber" or something like that, and then it was updated later. It was a video billboard. So what did they say? Bad, terrible bet? Or something like that?
That was a bad bet or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there was a American Eagle with a golden chain around it saying "Belieber," and I was like, oh. Yikes. It was pretty funny. It was pretty good. And that was posted somewhere in the States. I don't remember where.
All right, so guys, I just wanted to cover this very briefly as part of our sponsor segment. So Hotspot Shield, the easy, fast way to get set up with a VPN. VPNs are great for all kinds of things, making it more difficult for websites to figure out who you are and where you live, making it more difficult for, I don't know where I was going with that, making it easier for you to enjoy content that is geo-restricted. So whether you just want to, like, I don't know, ComedyCentral.com, you want to, like, watch some videos and it's US region locked and you happen to live in Australia or Canada or Great Britain or anywhere in the world and you want to enjoy that content, Hotspot Shield can fake your IP so that you appear to be coming from the US and allow you to do that. It can also allow you to circumvent things like firewalls. I don't necessarily encourage this use of it, and it's probably terrible I'm talking about it in a sponsor spot, but we've had quite a few people post on the Linus Tech Tips forum that they use it to circumvent blocks at their school.
Yep.
And sort of get around content blocks. So content blocks at schools, content blocks within countries can allow you to access all kinds of stuff that you couldn't before. One really good thing is you can access Sochi Winter Games content, whether you're wanting to appear that you're from, I don't know, the UK or the US. If there isn't a stream of whatever event it is that you want to see in your country and it's region locked, then you can go ahead and just get around that with Hotspot Shield. So the Elite membership is really the one I'd recommend. The free one is ad supported and does have a lot of ads, but the Elite one really isn't that expensive for a VPN, and you can get 20% off it if you head over to bit.ly/hsshare and then use offer code Linus when you sign up for it. And this is pretty cool. I'm giving away 10 codes. I was going to do it live on the show, but I realize now that that's going to be a little bit challenging and it's going to be really time consuming. So maybe what I'll do is I'll enter everyone's name into a hat at the end of the show, and then I'll post the winners on... You know what? I'll post the winners in the thread. So it's sponsored giveaway from Hotspot Shield thread on the Linus Tech Tips forum. Guys, if you aren't entered already, all you have to do for a chance to win a 6-month Elite membership is post in that thread with a screenshot of you with the trial of Elite installed. And then you have a chance to win a free 6-month membership to it.
That's pretty legit.
Yeah, it's actually a really good giveaway.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
next topic.
Moving on. Next we have...
You know, it's hard to have a Better Than Bieber segment when everything in your show is more important than Justin Bieber.
Maybe we should just rename the show The WAN Show. Better Than Bieber.
Better Than Bieber. Okay. Actually, guys, should we do a t-shirt? The WAN show, Better Than Bieber, just
Bieber.
like really small. So when people like, because I mean, the reason we did a couple t-shirt designs, so they're on district lines, and the reason that we ended up with kind of a WAN show logo, so this logo right here in the middle of a shirt, but without the text "The WAN Show," was because we figured people probably wouldn't want.
Well, you could have, like, you know the Linus Tech Tips logo that's on the back? You could have, like, hashtag Better Than Bieber.
Hashtag Better Than Bieber. So we didn't want people asking our t-shirt wearers, what the heck's the WAN show? Because if we put Better Than Bieber on it, then people won't have to ask what's the WAN show. They'll just be like, oh yeah, whatever it is.
That symbol thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, probably, okay, yeah, sure, gotcha. So there you go, guys. We have our Brofist design, which is that. Yeah. And then there's also WAN Stealth. So
Oh, there we go.
there you go. So WAN Stealth looks like that. So WAN Stealth. So just picture it with like a little like Better Than Bieber right here. We should totally do that. All right, moving on to our next topic.
We also
and
have.
Tesla.
I'm super stoked for the Adventure Time one.
Where's this thread? Why does this happen? I looked
Is
at
it gonna
this
happen
like
to me?
right before the.
Is it gonna happen to me? Yes.
We got to figure out a way for the threads that we.
I don't know if that's a Google Doc thing or what.
No. The issue is that the thread's been moved or merged. I run into this once in a while. All right. So this was posted by NeuroKnight on the forum, and all that's being said is that Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, among other things, has talked to Apple, but that an acquisition of Tesla is unlikely. In fact, what's the word on the street is what's much more likely is a collaboration between the companies, which could manifest as a number of different things. And the one that I would like to see, and this is something that I called back when the iPhone 3G was a big deal, because this was an argument, like an ongoing argument between me and Cameraman, the old NCIX cameraman who did all my editing back then. He was like, what's Apple's next big direction past smartphones? And to me, tablets are more of like an evolutionary step from a smartphone. It's a big smartphone. And I said iCar and then iHome. Because to me, those were two things that could really, truly benefit from the things that Apple is so good at. And for all the people that want to hate on Apple all they want, good for you. Fine, do it. But you cannot argue with how good they are at taking existing concepts and technologies. I mean, Logan's video, Has Apple Ever Really Invented Anything, is actually a pretty good watch. You should go check it out. But what Apple's good at is taking things that are already invented and making them all work together in a way that is different. And
usually easier.
What could use a shakeup more than the car industry?
BMW's new connected car is pretty freaking cool.
Yep, that's cool. But do you think that Apple, with their expertise, could probably do it better?
Yeah, and then hopefully Google will step in as they are, and everybody's going to step in and blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's going to look like that.
Would love to see this. I mean, maybe not quite like this. And
I think
that's
Apple
fine.
design would be a lot better than that.
Yeah, it would. This is just like a silly fan mock-up, so don't worry too much about that. But something like a car that was just truly intelligent and upgradable and app-friendly. I mean, that's the problem with the car guys. is they all want the 2013 model to not be upgradable. Because they want to build in that incremental thing they can do with the 2014 model. And Apple's as guilty of this as anyone. But to a much lesser degree than the car guys, I think, in terms of being closed off and not allowing additional functionality over time and not wanting to give people the ability to mod and use the things the way that they want to. I mean, that was the whole thing with the iPhone was... I mean, Apple talked about this a lot way back in the day, is we didn't even imagine that people were going to create this app for it.
That's true. Again, though, not to bring it back to the BMW car, but the BMW car doesn't really have apps really installed on it already. You plug your phone in and then it grabs APIs from those apps.
Right.
So it's not like it's going to go out of date. And that was actually one of their big things, is as your phone updates, that's all you need to update.
And then you'll still have more functionality.
Yeah, but then a problem with that too is that it's not built into the car and it is just APIs.
Yes.
So you're not getting that full fluid functionality that you could expect from an Apple car or even say a Google car or something like that.
Whereas Apple, it'll be seamless. You'll go from using Siri in your car to using Siri on your phone to using Siri on your, if they ever get around to making a TV, on your TV. And then the one that, and this was the crazy prediction I made. Because he was like, iCar, no, but maybe. And then when I said iHome, he was like, no, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. iHome, to me, what it will be is it will be a single piece. It will be an actual unit that just gets dropped onto a piece of property and is fully integrated.
With Google's new thing that we'll talk about later, that could even work incredibly well.
And he was like, no, because people won't give up the personalization and the customizability of their phone, to which or of their home. To which I replied, they gave it up with their phones. Before the iPhone, it was stuff like the Motorola Razr in a variety of different colors, Paris Hilton pink, or whatever the stupid.
What, that doesn't
well,
make any
because
sense.
the layout of every home on the street would probably be pretty much the same. You look at what Apple does.
No.
They bring one model to market.
Because of, well, the layout doesn't. You mean like the entire building is a unit?
The entire building. I think this is my crazy future prediction. Apple will have the iHome, which you order through your contractor or whatever it is, and it arrives on a flatbed, and they put it down on your property, and that's it. And it's going to have all kinds of really crazy cool technology. So, Nest, eat your heart out, because this is going to have controlled thermostat, controlled, washer, dryer. And it's going to be crazy expensive. If you ever have to upgrade anything about it, you're going to be locked into that particular model in the Apple way. But it'll all work together in a way that's very seamless and very cool. I can see
it more being like iApartment. I don't see them doing entire buildings. Especially
iApartment?
Because, a house, that's kind of insane. Another thing that you could do though is have it be a module attachment, like how air conditioners sometimes, if you have huge ones, they sit outside your house.
Yep.
It could be like your iHome module, and then you could use something like the Google thing we're going to talk about later, which I don't want to get too into right now, to map your home out so that it can then know what's up in your phone, in your home, and then have the device that sits external or even internal of your house control everything that's inside, whether or not it is technically Apple everywhere. I could see that happening too. It's interesting.
Yeah, people are hating on my prediction, but I stand by it. We'll see.
I'm not going to go with your prediction.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, I know, and I know that's fine. Yeah.
If we're still sitting on this couch in 20 years, we'll see.
I think we'll hopefully be sitting somewhere else.
Yeah, hopefully a much better couch.
This kind of crap.
My back is
it's
so
terrible.
Sweaty. This couch probably smells really bad, in spite of the fact that we haven't owned it that long.
Yeah. It's horrible. Okay.
All right. So, one other possible collaboration would even just be something like building a ginormous, awesome factory for batteries.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that Apple has really pushed forward is battery technology, and that's something that Tesla desperately needs to be pushed forward. So them getting together and working on that together could be extremely exciting for the future. Because,
really cool.
As you'll know if you watched my Brunton hydrogen reactor video not that long ago, fuel cell just ain't quite there yet.
Not so much.
Should we do BitTorrent Live?
Sure. Or do you want to jump and do that Google one real quick? Just so people can know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay.
So we won't leave them hanging on this.
Yeah, so this is Google Project Tango, which the idea is there's a video, and honestly, I don't know if we should watch
probably just watch it.
It's fairly long.
It's 3 minutes. It's
Yeah.
not that bad.
All right.
Why don't we just watch it, guys?
Sure.
We're gonna watch this video together. All right.
My name is Johnny Lee, and I work in the Advanced Technology and Projects Group at Google. Our small
Sorry, I paused it. I'm just adjusting the volume for y'all.
team here, based in California, has been working with universities, research labs, and industrial partners to harvest the last 10 years of research in robotics and computer vision to concentrate that technology into a very unique mobile phone. We are physical beings that live in a 3D world. Yet, mobile devices today assume that the physical world ends at the boundaries of the screen. Our goal is to give mobile devices a human-scale understanding of space and motion.
This is going to allow people to interact with their environment in just a fundamentally different way. And we can prototype
So you can see
in a
it's
couple
actually
hours
mapping
something
that
would
hallway.
take us months or even years before because we didn't have this technology readily available.
That's what he sees.
What
yeah.
happens if you have all of these pieces in a phone? How does that change what a phone is?
Okay, maybe we don't have to watch the
We
whole
have
thing.
created a prototype phone
Probably good enough
containing
right there.
Yeah.
highly
So
customized.
that gives you guys some idea of what's up. And then the rest of the video is talking about the excitement they have about development for this technology and the prototype or, well, dev kit devices that they have built. I think there's 2,000, correct?
I think there's 200.
200?
I think so. We need to sign up for one.
Good luck, but sure.
I will make something in Unity
Okay,
outside of hours. I will make something.
up to you.
I want one of these things. I want to mount it to the front of an Oculus.
Do you,
and then
or do you just
have
plain
it-
want to mount it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Mainly mount it to the front of an Oculus though, because you know people have been mounting webcams.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what it is.
Okay,
A little bit more
so
first.
they've been working with tons of universities, research labs, and industrial partners spanning across 9 countries around the world. They've been doing tons of different stuff, and the goal of Project Tango is to give mobile devices a human-scale understanding of space and motion.
They heard
That is
that
a
part.
direct quote. Okay, yeah, I didn't know if that was in the video or not. I do not have audio. Yeah, it's a direct quote from them. It's customized hardware, blah, 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 blah. Basically, you can walk around with this thing and it can 3D map your environment. This is supposed to be good because you can translate your position, orientation, and depth to apps written in Java, C, C++, and Unity. Unity is a very good engine for doing stuff with Oculus Rift. So they're looking into this as like you can help people that are blind. You can help map environments. So you could look at a different area in your house and then digitally put in furniture, which you can already do, but not very well. This you could do it very effectively. You could find things in a store with it more easily. You could map out an environment you could go into your garage, empty the floor, map it out with your phone, hook up on an Oculus, and then have that whole area generated to be something that it isn't right now, which is really cool.
Or you could even do things like, I mean, a garage cleaning is something that, you know, homeowners like myself hate and wish that something would just do it for me. What if I could just map out my garage and my phone could tell me the most optimal place to put everything?
Why not?
Why not?
Someone could do that. That's definitely doable.
There could be an app for that.
There's also scary implementations. How do you know this thing is on? How do you know it's not porting that information to the NSA? It's going to help people track you. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, there's all the terrible,
if
terrible,
you're hiding
scary
behind
stuff.
something, it could show people that you're hiding behind something. Like there's terrible stuff. Obviously, like with everything we report ever nowadays.
I know.
But Oculus, yeah. I can see this being super, super cool for VR because something we talked about multiple times in the past actually was Oculus Rift laser tag, essentially.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
You map the whole house with your phone.
Yeah.
Then you throw on Oculuses with like laptop backpacks and like, oh yeah, you could even like, you could get like armored up and get like all kitted out like Jeff here.
Jeff is our co-host, by the way.
Yeah, Jeff is our co-host. He's more like a producer. He's overseeing the operation here.
Yeah.
But like, holy crap, for gaming,
So cool.
this would be absolutely amazing.
Huge for
Augmented
gaming.
reality, virtual reality, all that kind of stuff. That's like the reality that's different from the other more different, boring reality. Oh,
I really hope Palmer and the guys at Oculus are just jumping all over this because, holy cow, this integrated with the Rift would be, fantastique.
Yeah.
I'd be all over that because that's amazing. I don't know. The only thing I care about in this whole set is the ability for it to easily port into Unity. Because I'm like, yeah. Although the helping visually impaired is very cool, and like something they're saying is they could walk around with the phone, it could be mounted somewhere or something, and then it could translate information about the environment around them to audio.
Right.
So you'd be like, oh, there's a wall in
Hey,
front
there's a
of you.
car coming.
There's a car coming.
Yeah.
Turn right. There's a crosswalk. Whatever. Like it could tell you what's going on around you, which is actually really cool.
Someone's telling me to talk about the new YouTube layout. I don't think it's good to get me started on that.
Probably not.
No, we're just not going to do that. Anyway, extremely exciting.
Yeah.
Totally not here yet, but much hope for the future.
Yep.
So awesome. Very good. Anyway, BitTorrent to launch a live video streaming app. This is a story from The Verge, and the app it's actually been available for a while, but much like anything that BitTorrent does, it's really not very exciting until there's a whole bunch of users making it awesome, because it's all based on peer-to-peer sharing. So the way it works now is if you wanted to watch Canada destroy the US, I shouldn't say destroy, it was only 1-0, but anyway, if you want to watch Canada beat the US, you have to go to cbc.ca or wherever it is that you're watching it, and then they have to stream that to everyone. The way that this would work, much like everything BitTorrent does, is it would stream to one user who would take a downstream and then maybe 2 or 3 upstreams and stream to more users, and it would spread that way so that the bandwidth requirements are distributed, and so that it's much easier to do things that are very challenging right now for services like Netflix and YouTube, whether it's agreements with ISPs or just plain simple network capacity, and that is get the content closer to the person who wants it. And Netflix has offered to go as far as installing their own hardware in ISPs' data centers so that they can be as close as possible to the people who want the content, so you're not just wasting bandwidth, having the data travel further than it has to. Well, what this would do is it would not only decrease the bandwidth cost for whoever's hosting the content. So speaking of the new YouTube layout, if for whatever reason Linus Media Group was just like, you know what, screw it, we don't want to do this YouTube thing anymore, we want to stream our videos ourselves, it would dramatically reduce the startup bandwidth cost and our reliance on sponsors to pay for it, but then you guys would share the burden.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. And it's exciting for smaller people. Like, honestly, we could probably handle it. We're of a size now that we could probably do it. Even if we had to do like a donation thing, we'd be like, okay, guys, look, we got to pay for our own bandwidth now. Help us out. I think you guys would do that. But for someone really small, this could save their butt.
And this, like, something we talked about in the Better Than Bieber segment, people were talking, you did Hotspot Shield right after that, so people were saying if you're in one of those countries or something like that, Hotspot Shield can help you get information out. If you want to, like, stream video, a mixture of this and Hotspot Shield could really help you if, say, all you had was cellular data.
Right.
Because
yeah.
one upstream. And just pushing one dude, and then maybe you've got one buddy in the States or something that's got a really nice internet connection, or Europe or wherever, that can push out to even more, and then more, it can spread.
So it's going to be launched in an alpha state. I think sometime this year was the timeline given. Yeah, will be released in alpha. And I mean, they are doing so much amazing stuff right now. Speaking of being a pioneer and trying to shake a negative stigma, or trying to shake the stigma of being associated with piracy and with, law breaking, BitTorrent. Holy crap, these guys are on
lately.
fire.
Yeah.
Between BitTorrent Sync, their chat application.
Yeah.
Speaking of free alternatives that could give something like WhatsApp a run for its money, I wonder what BitTorrent's going to be valued at in 10 years.
Yeah. They're moving real hard.
They're moving real hard.
And like we talked a while ago when they came out, this was back when we were in the garage, I think. I put an article in the doc saying about how BitTorrent was like, whoa, stop attributing us with piracy.
Yeah.
And we were both like,
we laughed.
Lol. Yeah.
We laughed.
Yeah.
We were wrong.
Yep. Well, we're wrong now.
I deserve that.
Moving on.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Last videos would start slowly. Yeah, all good stuff. Yep. All right. So watching movies on the Oculus could be a thing. I can think of certain kinds of movies I would want to watch on the Oculus. One of which is obviously the Pirates of the Caribbean. There's a new one coming. That's where I was going with that. Anyway. So this is an article from New Film School.
Oh, man. So 0 Point is a project by Condition 1, and it's actually about the Oculus Rift device, and it will be viewable on the Oculus Rift device, which is fantastic. They've also made things earlier that let iPad users move through footage with 180 degree field of vision. Sorry about that. So these are guys, they're pretty animated.
I muted that before I started. Oh, wow. The ad. You cannot mute the ad.
That's brutal.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Where was I? Yeah, so they make this kind of stuff, and they're going to continue making this kind of stuff, which is cool. I'm pretty excited to see this. There's an interactive trailer. Is that where you were?
Yeah.
The trailer? So apparently the trailer has a non-mutable ad, so we're not going to watch the trailer. But if you want to find it, it's condition1.com/0point/whatever. Just Google it. And it'll be in the doc later, once it's posted on the forum, later today, hopefully.
Yeah.
So you can check that out. I think this is super cool.
I think it's super cool. I mean, I don't necessarily see the relevance for something like a fiction.
Yeah.
Like, I think being able to walk around in The Hobbit 2 would have actually even further removed any believability from that movie. But of course, I'm not going to rant about it. I promise not to do that. But for something like a sporting event.
Oh yeah, super cool.
Okay, so picture this. Instead of cameras just pointing at the ice, and you have those viewpoints, they have 3D modeling cameras. So you have them all over the place to the point where you could either attend the game in person, or you could buy a virtual ticket, because they're not going to give you this for free.
No.
You could buy a virtual ticket and stand on the ice.
Epic.
Of a hockey game, right? Think about that.
Imagine the view modes too. You know how when you're in a game you can like select different view modes,
like free view,
or like player attached. Imagine you could just be attached on like the head position of one of the players.
So if you could just like GoPro on to any player on the ice. If you like, what is it like to play as an NFL quarterback for a day?
Yeah.
Like you buy your ticket, which would probably be cheaper than an in-person ticket and probably a way cooler experience. You strap on your Oculus and holy crap.
We need to get, this is something I've been interested in for a really long time. You know, like sensory deprivation chamber things?
Yeah.
We need to get those, but completely the opposite. It needs to be like sensory overload chamber, where you can wear some type of VR technology and then have this thing inject smells.
Why would we want this?
And inject like temperatures. So you could like feel like you are somewhere.
Okay.
Like if you're running through a meadow, it's going to smell and feel like you're running through a meadow. It can simulate wind. It can make it smell like it.
Wind.
Oh god. I think it was at Disneyland. They have that one where you go over an orange field and it smells like oranges while you're doing it.
That'd be very cool.
Like that would be epic. And I don't know, maybe sports is going to be smelly, but like still, if they can get that experience so you actually feel like you're there, oh man, that would be so cool.
Yep, this is going to be amazing. I mean, one of the uses they're talking about is in documentary type films. So you could see from different perspectives. I mean, really, to me, this is going to, there's going to be this in-between stage where you can do things like pan from one thing to another.
Yeah.
So, like, the scene is going on, like, kind of over there, but you could go look at the dog if you wanted. Like, stuff no one's really going to want to do.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, you'll need, like, a fancy camera to capture that. But then what's really coming is when you can use multiple cameras to capture a much larger scene and then recreate it as a virtual event. I mean, imagine this. If something like what's going on in Ukraine right now, if everyone had their cell phones out and was collecting footage, which is already going on anyway.
If you could just virtually move around in this space.
If you could recreate something like a riot or event. I mean, okay, forget Ukraine for a second. Okay, so when Canada loses hockey games, Vancouver riots. So if the police could take all that cell phone footage, stitch it together, and go walk through it and find out who freaking started it.
They're still persecuting people for that, eh?
Yeah.
They just
prosecuting,
sorry. They just pulled in, I think, 3 more people.
So, Imagine that. Imagine law enforcement with this. I mean, yeah, but then imagine all the negative things.
Yeah.
It's like with cameras everywhere.
Everything we report on now. This is super cool and horribly terrible. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, but I'm stoked because it would also be really cool in movies like that were very like vocal heavy. There's a lot of talking.
Yeah, like that one good scene in The Hobbit.
Stop. Stop. Okay. Should have seen him the day after he watched the movie. Stop. Because like if you could feel like you're partaking in the conversation just as a silent member of the conversation, that would be really cool. Anyways, moving on to what?
To more Oculus. It's like you can tell who works on the dock, hey? So they are suspending sales of the Rift developer kit, but will not confirm if there is to be a new developer kit available soon.
So they're not necessarily suspending sales, they're just not distributing anymore. So
they're not making them.
Yeah, they're not making them anymore. So if they sell it in a region, you won't be able to get them in that region anymore. Yay! There's a whole bunch of information coming out about what could possibly be in DK2, Development Kit 2. And a lot of people are wondering if it's going to be a slightly further version than Crystal Cove. Because there has been people recently tweeting out saying that they've gone to Oculus headquarters and have seen something that's just absolutely blown them off their feet. And they're not allowed talking about it and all this kind of stuff. It's under NDA. But that was very recent, and now they're stopping production. Holy crap, I want DK2 now, Development Kit 2 now. I'm super incredibly stoked. There's also another thing. Oculus has filed for RiftCon, the trademark for RiftCon, so there's probably going to be some sort of
conference,
VR conference or convention or something like that. Who knows?
I'd imagine that it'd be the least expensive conference ever to attend.
I'd hope so. I'd hope that they would have some way to be able to attend it in that form. Especially with, did you see those little like cameras on wheels that were going around CES?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if they had those but 360-degree cameras.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that'd be epic. Yeah, so they haven't commented on a kit, but it's pretty sure a kit's coming. Although that could just be hopeful wishing. I'm not entirely sure.
Speaking of wishful, hopeful things, what if there was an app to make it so you can see better? Skip this ad. Okay, so this is the claim, and this is on popularmechanics.com. This is not on, like, The Onion, okay? So there's a whole spiel about how baseball players and such, they have very little time to something. Anyway, don't worry too much about that. What this app does is it actually trains the brain, not the eyes, to interpret what the eyes are seeing better. So we're going to go ahead and this time I'm going to be ready to mute the PC if something disastrous happens.
There you go.
Yes.
Good work.
Go away, amazing in motion. Nobody cares. Okay, well, whatever. Anyway,
that's the same ad.
That's coming in a moment.
Not mutable before.
So what it does is you sit in front of it and you recognize, you identify shapes for a period of time that I actually haven't tried it yet. But the whole point of all of this is, guys, it's I'm going to post the link in the Twitch chat, which I always forget to do. I know we should do this on every single article. There we go. So I'm going to post the link in the Twitch chat. And the idea is that by training your brain to recognize, there you go, so you guys can see kind of what's up now. There you go. To recognize these things, it will allow you to achieve significantly better vision. And the article claims, forget about 2020, I think they were saying that there were people achieving like 27, which means that you can see from 20 feet what most people would see from 7 feet, which is bananas. Absolutely bananas. So my suggestion was going to be that we all try it this week. And then we come back next week and we can do a Twitter blitz. And I'd love to hear from everyone how effective it was for them. So that's it. It was just something cool that I wanted to talk about, which I guess is this entire show. Speaking of something not cool that we're going to talk about, Irrational Games is closing their doors sort of as you knew them. I think he's keeping about 15 members.
He's keeping
of
some
the team?
employees, and they're moving, and they're supporting and helping the employees that they're not keeping a lot. They're even hosting job fairs where people from other companies can come to their offices and meet the people that they're not keeping, and possibly hire them. I know Bethesda scooped up a few, or is looking into scooping up a few, and like, who's not going to want people from Irrational Games at this point? So I wouldn't be too worried if I was an employee at Irrational Games. They're not pulling an EA. They're actually trying to like help their employees out that they're not keeping, and they're giving the IP of BioShock to 2K, which makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, he's moving on. He's trying to do a more entrepreneurial kind of endeavor at Take-Two.
He was gonna go fully independent, but he kind of said, this is Kevin Levine. But he kind of said, okay, I want to refocus on a smaller group. I'm gonna go indie. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go independent, and I want a smaller team. I want a flatter reporting structure. I don't want to be such a ginormous, company working on such a ginormous project anymore. We started this 17 years ago, and it's been a wild ride, but I want to do something smaller, and Take-Two basically said, look, let us support you within our ecosystem. So he's still going to stay there, but Irrational Games, as you knew it, is pretty much gone.
Yeah, and like, they're doing that because Take-Two helped them a lot in the past as well. This isn't really a new thing. He's not jumping ship randomly. This made sense already. So it's I'm kind of sad, but I hope for good things. He's quoted saying, if we're lucky, we'll build something half as memorable as BioShock, and I'm sure, considering it's Kevin Levine, that he will try extremely hard. So I'm excited for what they make. I'm also still excited for the future of BioShock. It's not over. I just hope it's not
BioShock 2
terrible.
sure made it look like it was over.
Yeah.
But then it came back.
But then BioShock Infinite was freaking amazing. I don't know why the whole internet, flipped when it became awards time on BioShock Infinite. Everyone loved it. Then it was like awards time. Then it was like, no, it sucks. And then it still won things.
Well, that's the
It's like,
thing is
what?
the gaming community is very fickle.
Yeah.
The attention span is very short.
You forget how good things were, I think.
Yep.
I think that's a big
And
problem.
it's not a multiplayer game, so people aren't playing it every day.
That even ties in something that reminded me of the exact thing that happened with BioShock Infinite was the Star Citizen, the Next Great Starship thing.
Yep.
It became the wild card round, so everyone was voting for what one they thought was the best in the wild card, so what didn't make it through the judge voting. And a mass percentage of the votes were for something that was from the most recent episode.
Yep.
And that's because when you went to go view it, it was just names of teams. No pictures of the gun, nothing
Right.
like that. So even when I was looking through it, trying to be super objective, I was like, I don't remember 2/3 of these because they're in old episodes. Like, what the heck was that? So, I don't know. That's it. The internet forgets. Everyone
Yep.
forgets. It makes sense.
Actually, I was having this conversation with Ed today. Edsel, our editor. Anyway, we were marveling at some classic memes that a lot of the kids today aren't aware of. Like, all your base has disappeared off the face of the earth, replaced by such Doge, so coin, whatever. Like, whatever the flavor of the day is, it is so easy for stuff to completely disappear.
Yeah.
And
people still remember it, but it's not circulated.
yeah.
It's not in the flow like everything else is.
This is a topic that isn't on the doc, but I did want to bring up very briefly. Square Enix has talked about the possibility of more Final Fantasy development on the PC.
Cool.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, that Final Fantasy sold a lot of PlayStation 1s and a fair number of PlayStation 2s. I think a lot of PC people would have loved to have. I mean, they've really expanded the platforms that the games are available on a lot over the last few years. I mean, the remakes on Android are probably the most notable ones. I actually did rebuy one of them now that I think about it. No, maybe it was DS? Yeah, I bought a Final Fantasy 1 or Final Fantasy 2 remake for the DS. And that's been such a cash cow for them and such a great move for them that I really have to wonder, is anyone at Square Enix watching? Why the hell don't you go back to making good games?
Yeah, tying into that, this isn't even in the doc, but apparently the source and everything for Thief was released.
Oh yeah.
It was leaked. There's ending of the game videos on YouTube already.
Oh wow.
I think someone was streaming the game on Twitch.
Ooh.
It's leaked. Out there, not a little bit. People have mapped out certain levels, and people are pissed.
Really?
Like,
That bad, eh?
not stoked at all. Especially the guys that used to play Thief. I haven't touched it yet. I don't know. I'm not going to touch the leaked code. I'm going to wait till it comes out. Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But people are complaining because apparently it's just way too easy. And apparently someone has already beat it from beginning to end without cheating. And I think it was like 6 hours.
Wow.
So, yeah. One thing that they do have is there's like voluntary difficulty scaling.
Yeah.
So you can put in like handicaps essentially. Like one of them is if you're ever detected, you just lose. Another one is if you die.
That
it,
should
like,
be an
deletes your whole
achievement,
game.
not a
It's
handicap.
you get more points.
Okay, sure.
So yeah,
Whoever played a game for points?
I know.
Like, honestly, you either beat the thing or you don't. Like, for most people. I know some people are going to try to get every bandage in Super Meat Boy, and that's cool. I respect that. But most people don't do that.
And usually it's a cool addition. That's how I see most achievement kind of things. It's like, oh, I really like this game. Here's something that can get me to continue playing. Some sort of goal.
Yeah.
Like with the idea with Thief, when I heard about those additional difficulty things, was, oh, cool. I really liked the Thief games. That's like why I like certain game types now, or because it reminds me of Thief.
Right.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh, cool. Once I beat the game, once I'm done playing the game normally, I can go back and put on like a combination of modes where if you're ever detected, you die,
Yeah.
and if you ever die, it deletes your game. So I could do that and be like super hardcore and then see if I could beat it. Like that makes sense.
I mean,
but-
it's such a fine balance. You know what? With a series like Thief, what I'll say about that is you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
If you change the gameplay a lot, then the hardcores who really loved the old games are going to hate you for it.
Yeah.
And if you don't change it enough, then you're not innovating, and it'll be another BioShock 2. What was the complaint about BioShock 2? Well, it was just that. They copy-pasted. How much do we complain about copy-pasting, and then how much do we complain when someone actually innovates? And my point about Final Fantasy, I'm going to come back to that for a minute, because this is very close to my heart as a diehard Final Fantasy VI lover, is that it is not the same thing. You do not have to make a change to the combat system at all. You could use a combat system from any decent Final Fantasy game, whether it's 5, 6, 7, 9. I'm just trying to think of other ones that I liked off the top of my head. But anyway, you could take any good combat system and you tie it into a halfway decent story with a decent length, and that's the kind of gameplay it is. Who plays Final Fantasy for the combat?
That's one thing with Thief though that people have been complaining about, is apparently you can run through the game like a Rambo. And the whole thing, and a lot of like reviewers that have been able to play it early have been saying it's incredibly difficult to do combat. But then apparently the guy that ran through it in like 6 hours just like killed everyone. And it was like, yeah, you just shoot everybody, and
Right.
then pick up all the things, which is like not how Thief is supposed to be played. You're supposed to not be the greatest combatant. You're supposed to have to beat the game by stealing things. That's the whole point. You're a thief. So I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense.
But no, I don't know. I'm still. I haven't given up hope. I am hoping that it's just some like crazy hype train.
You haven't given up hope?
Yeah.
When's the last time a game got leaked and panned and it turned out to be awesome? Okay, so moving on. GTX 750 Ti, NVIDIA's most efficient GPU yet. The article that I will refer to is our own video, because this is something we covered. It's funny, on WAN Show, we tend not to cover anything that we covered.
Well, because they just go watch the YouTube video.
Well, yeah, but that's assuming a lot. That's assuming that people want to watch our YouTube videos.
They seem to.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna create a straw poll for this.
I'm gonna.
You know what? Why don't you just hate some more? Strawpoll.me.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm gonna create a new straw poll. Do you? Oh, okay. Here. What
Probably just start
do
using
you?
your own forum.
What do you watch? Sorry.
We should probably just start using our own forum.
Yeah, we should probably start using our own forum for
We have
this.
a poll on our own forum.
Okay, LTT plus WAN plus Tech Quickie. Okay, LTT plus WAN, LTT only, and then WAN only. What are some of the other options? Anyone watching this show must watch
LTT
WAN.
and Tech Quickie.
But, well, they watch WAN, so there are already options in here that don't really
Oh,
make any sense.
Yeah, never mind.
Well, whatever. TQ only. Fine. So, well, I'm talking like, what do you actually follow? What do you regularly watch?
So if this is the only time you've ever watched the WAN show, maybe
Yeah.
not. Maybe don't include WAN. But if it's like a part of your thing to watch the WAN show all the time, then include it then.
Yeah, we're curious. We want to know like what you guys are actually watching here. So to be clear, LTT is Linus Tech Tips YouTube channel. TQ is the Tech Quickie YouTube channel, my secondary channel, and then WAN is this particular show because there is a large subset of our viewers, and I know this already, that do not watch WAN show, even though they're regular viewers. Like people like 6 months in to Luke being on the WAN show but not appearing in other videos, we'd have people being like, "Holy crap, it's slick!" And like I'm not hating on these people or anything. It's just it's just like okay, you clearly don't watch the WAN show, and that's fine.
I think that's slowed down a lot. There's still a little bit where someone would be like, "Oh my God, his name is Luke, whatever,"
Yeah.
and I'm just like, "Yeah."
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, and some people kind of go away and they don't watch it for 6 months and they come back and then it's surprising. And that's mostly gone, but I'm just sort of curious how many of you don't. In the meantime, we'll talk about 750 Ti. Not a whole lot to say. Very competitively positioned, very power efficient, very quiet. Look at that cooler. There's like nothing to it at all.
It's kind of ugly.
It's only about the length of a PCI Express slot, which, okay, now we made fun of this, both of us. You and I are both guilty. We trolled the hell out of the 650 Ti.
Yeah.
That little tiny PCB.
Yeah.
But then, when I needed a card with an H.264 decoder on it for my media PC, what did I have to use? I had to find that short PCB card to install in a Lee PCQ07.
It's still funny.
It's still funny. It still looks ridiculous. But there is a market for a card that is very power efficient, doesn't require an external power connector. See, no power connector, and is really, really short, so you can fit it in almost anything.
Yeah. And like it shines, as we talked about earlier, it shines greatly if you're looking for very power efficient mining. Now all the charts that people are showing is like very heavily based on power efficiency. It's not the craziest miner out there.
Yeah.
But for how much power it draws, it is extremely strong. So it's that how you're rating it kind of deal. So if you want to run a ton of these on a low amount of power and have it output a good amount for how much power you're using, that makes sense. And then a lot of people do worry about that because if you're trying to legitimately make money off of mining, your power bill is probably kind of really important to you.
That's a major factor.
Yeah, so if you can get that down and still be making a fair amount, then that's really good because if you have to get that raw profit up.
All right, so let's have a look at the straw poll before. Or did you have any more topics you wanted to cover?
There's like random things like the Powerlaces possibly coming in 2015. There's nothing really else to say about that though.
That's fine.
Powerlaces from Back to the Future might be coming in 2015.
Yeah, hold on, I'll find a picture. This is posted on The Verge, by The Verge. Thank you, Verge. We love you, Verge.
I think they have a video of how it like was worked in.
I found out why we haven't got Joshua Topolsky as a guest yet.
Why?
Well, he had a baby.
Oh.
So he's kind of busy and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
Cool.
That's okay. He has all the time he wants.
Yep.
Also, oh my goodness, I got a message. Tom Merritt also agreed to come on the show, but he's been like, he just started up his own thing. He's been crazy, crazy busy. But yeah, we definitely want him as a guest. So anyway, these fictional sneakers will be coming. So Powerlaces.
Powerlaces, yeah.
Yeah, Powerlaces. They're not going to be on shoes that look like this.
Well, they should be.
They totally should be.
I would definitely get some of those.
I mean, they did a limited... Oh my goodness, I'm not screen sharing. They did a limited edition run back in 2011.
For charity or something.
Yeah, of 1,500 of these shoes. But I would love to see them actually bring this... Would you wear them?
Yeah.
You would wear them?
Yeah. Just because of the Back to the Future reference. If it wasn't for Back to the Future, I probably wouldn't get those.
I probably would.
But like because it's Back to the Future and because certain nerdy people would be like, yeah, then yeah, I'd do that.
So nerd street cred is worth looking like a dumbass to other people.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I'm not saying that's wrong.
I wear certain things because it has nerd street cred.
Yeah, like that video game high school shirt that you apparently never take off.
Sweater.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. So let's go to our poll. What do you guys watch? 70% of you apparently will watch any crappy thing that we make.
Sweet, so that new channel.
Yeah, we should totally make new channels. Like, Linus in Stormtrooper armor just doing things. Entirely new channel for this.
Just Linus in Stormtrooper armor takes out the garbage.
Reality TV has reached a new low. Linus,
Thrilling. It was raining this time. Dun dun dun.
I don't even know if I'd want to take $1,500 Stormtrooper armor out in the rain.
Well, it's plastic.
It's plastic, but even so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
Here, maybe I should...
He takes it out in the rain. Exciting new episode. This week on TLC.
All right, so I can't read the straw poll unless I hold this here. Linus Tech Tips and WAN gets it. You better do this.
Okay, so Linus Tech Tips and WAN Show gets 22% of the vote. WAN Show only gets 4%. That's actually a lot higher than I expected. Linus Tech Tips and Tech Quickie No WAN Show is about 2% of the vote. That makes sense because that would be people that are watching the WAN Show but are possibly new to it. Linus Tech Tips only is only about 1%. Again, that's people that are probably just new to the WAN Show. And Tech Quickie is about 1% as well, with only about 9 votes. So not that many people are coming from only Tech Quickie and now watching the WAN Show, but there is some of them. And the mass majority of people watch just basically everything.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. I think that's actually about it for the
Yep.
show.
We should probably do one more plug for our sponsor. Thank you very much to Hotspot Shield for sponsoring this episode of the WAN Show. How's the audio from in here?
Actually,
can't hear it.
not as terrible.
Huh.
I can't hear it for... Don't you have the head?
Yeah. I just realized I'm asking a stupid question after I asked it, but then it was too late to back down.
All right.
Yeah. So, So thanks, Hotspot Shield. And then the other things are, guys, don't forget that you can support us in our endeavors to bring, justice to the galaxy or whatever it is that we do around here.
Yeah. No, literally, you can, though, by joining the Star Citizen organization. If you go to the PC Gaming forum on the website, you can find the pinned topic at the top, which is the Star Citizen thread, and you can join the Star Citizen group. We're like 18 people away or something from becoming second place. Really want that to happen this weekend, so join up. It'll be awesome. Dogfighting is coming out around April 11th. Or news about dogfighting will be coming around April 11th to 13th, and it should be releasing soon after that. So enlist now, and we can hopefully have some fun together.
And then the other thing, too, is we have t-shirts now. So if you click on the Support Us link, that's right on the Linus Tech Tips forum there. And of course my browser is, hardcore zoomed. And I can't, the lenses on these are not the greatest lenses I've ever encountered in my life.
That's why they can't shoot or aim very well.
Yeah, exactly. It is no mystery to me anymore why Stormtroopers can't hit anything. Because I got fully armored up today. I can barely move. I can't see. I mean, it's Mark Hamill said it best, I think. I can't see anything in this helmet.
Yeah.
Yes. You got it, Mark. I love you. So there you go. Support the cause. Lots of different things, including supporting us directly with a monthly contribution, which is, of course, very helpful. Helps us bring you more content and be less reliant on sponsors, which helps us expand our team. We are hiring, so there's that as well. Yes. You can click here to get a t-shirt. WAN Show t-shirt or, well, they're both kind of WAN Show t-shirts.
Yeah.
We should have some other t-shirts.
We should probably have some other t-shirts.
Yeah, we'll have other t-shirts later. Don't worry. There's more t-shirts coming.
We should get the Better Than Bieber thing going soon, though.
Yeah, Better Than Bieber t-shirt. We can put almost anything on that.
Yeah.
Put a dog turd.
Someone mentioned that, actually. It should be a pile of dog poo. It's Better Than Bieber.
Better Than Bieber.
I don't know if I'd want to wear it, but it's accurate.
Thanks for watching, guys. I think we're done here.
Nope, wrong one.
What?
No, you gotta do the outro.
The outro? I can't even see.
Yeah, click. Left click.
Luke, I am your father.
You have to wear the black.